welcome to another episode of Pop and Scott Talk Baseball. Dad, do we have really anything to talk about today in the baseball world?
I don't know. This small contract went across the wire last night. I think it was
Yeah,
about $700 million.
yep. And a couple other things happening this week as well. I mean, they had the talks, what are the general managers, whatever, hot stove, winter meetings, whatever it's called.
And they didn't have a whole lot going on there. I mean, that's
Yeah,
last year there was a lot more going on to winter meetings than this year. I mean, everybody had to wait for Ohtani. That was
right.
the first domino.
That was the
There were some minor trades, like Joe Ross. He had Tommy John surgery. He pitched for Washington for a few years. He went to the Brewers. He's 31 years old. He signed with the Brewers. And the Diamondbacks got a good pitcher. They got Eduardo Rodriguez from the Tigers.
Yeah.
And he had a good record for the Tigers. That guy can pitch. I mean, that's a big deal for the Diamondbacks.
Well, I think they realized, pitching in the playoffs, having a day of bullpen start is not going to win. So they had to go out and do something. They know they're right there. Well, at least, they're going to get the best out of everybody now that they've been in the World Series.
Then your buddy Mike O might know more about this than I do, but I heard that the Phillies are really trying to get Kimbrel. I mean, not Kimbrel, but Josh Hader.
Okay, yeah, because Kimbrel went to where did Kimbrel sign? Baltimore.
Orioles.
Yep. So that'll strengthen the back end. They're not going to have him close. They'll have the guy that was closing after their big closing. Yeah. So, but he'll be there in a seventh or eighth inning. Give him a little depth.
And the Yankees got Soto.
Yeah, that was the other thing this week. Two big things. Soto, which the Yankees a couple of weeks ago, it said this talk stalled. And we know not to listen to anything that the media puts out because it's a lot of smoke screens given to them. It's not their fault. They're reporting on what's given to them. I didn't see all what the Padres got.
They got Michael King and Drew Thorpe, two of the top prospects for the Yankees who are outstanding, and they got 3 lawn chairs. And that was the
So they didn't get an outfielder in the deal.
Yeah, they got an outfielder. I can't remember his name, but they Thorpe is are they both pitchers? King and Thorpe.
I know they got the number 1 pitching prospect from him.
Yeah, see, that was the hang up. See, the Yankees didn't want to part with him. They were trying to get Soto without having to give him up.
Because I saw Trent Grisham also was in that deal.
Yes.
That went.
Yeah, they got Grisham. Grisham is going to be the defensive replacement in the outfield for the Yankees late in the game.
Yeah, because he played center field.
If you look at their outfield, you're going to have Soto in left, and oh my goodness, the guy that got from Boston,
Verdugo.
Yeah. Verdugo.
They're going to be so left-handed heavy, which is smart.
And Judge is going to have to play center field, which he can do, but he's not your classic center fielder.
Yeah, so Michael King and Thorpe are both right-handed pitchers.
That's what I thought.
Brito, which is also right. So 4 right-handed pitchers, no out. Usually what happens in these type of trades, you usually get a player back to fill. I guess they have an outfielder to fill the spot. And then they got catcher Kyle. He got Shaka, which they have their catcher of the future. They brought up at the end of last year. The Yankees do. But a little side note with this trade and losing a couple of prospects, the Yankees lost 5 or 6 prospects in a Rule 5 draft this week as well. They lost one in the MLB Rule 5 draft. That was their 14th prospect. And then lost 3 or 4 in the minor league Rule 5, which I didn't even know existed till I started diving into it this week, which doesn't put them on the 40-man roster. It just has them in the minor leagues. I think they got to move up a spot. It was really convoluted on how that is. But yeah, that was – I just wanted to bring that out because the Yankees kind of – they finally built up a little bit of a farm system, and they kind of got –
Well, they put all their chips in the middle of the table. They're going all in because they're going to try. They're going to throw out the Brinks truck for Yamamoto, and
right.
They are trying to win the World Series now because with the older players they have, they know that it's they don't have it so anymore. They're going to have to start doing it. I mean, Soto's 25 years old, but he might as well be in diapers compared to some of those guys.
Well, Stanton's not young. Cole is definitely not young.
Rizzo.
Yeah, Rizzo. I mean, I'm sitting there thinking in that lineup, you put Judge as a right-handed and Stanton, his 50 games he'll play in. They're that order that if you have a left-handed pitcher, if I'm in the East or in the American League thinking I'm going to have to face them in the playoffs, I'm stacking my bullpen with left-handers.
Well,
you have to.
Stanton and Judge are both right-handed.
Right, but if you're going to pitch in New York, I'd rather pitch to the right-handers than
I would too. Yeah, they got that short porch.
Right. So, and they're going to be left-handed heavy now. The other two, you just kind of do the best you can with them. But that to me was the biggest thing. I like Soto, but I can't like him now. I just can't root for a Yankee. Do I respect them? Yeah. I mean,
sure.
Yeah, but I just can't root for him. I can't root for him to win or succeed. I can't do it. So good luck to him. Went to the evil empire. To have a white hat, you have to have a black hat, and that's what the Yankees are. And we'll get to the other ones in the National League. The Dodgers go out, spend $70 million a year on Ohtani average. I don't know if they back ended it.
No. See, here's the deal. Here's the deal on Ohtani. The Dodgers signed him for $700 million. He's going to get $48 to $50 million a year. They backloaded because he wanted to backload the contract so that the Dodgers could get more players to help because he wants to win a championship. So he didn't want to have so much money that they couldn't get anybody. So his I found this out today. His contract is backloaded. So is Mookie Betts. So is Freddie Freeman's. All three of those are backloaded. Now, they're going to be paying these guys when they're in the old folks' home, but it doesn't matter because it's backloaded, so it won't hurt them so bad. Now, the one thing with Ohtani is living in Southern California, the state tax, he'll probably clear about $38. But, right. I mean, he wanted to backload his contract. And the other thing, from what the other teams are saying, it was Toronto and the Cubs. And one other team put in a bid, and none of them were close to $700 million. None.
Yeah, I think that really shocked especially.
I heard that the Dodgers put another $100. It was $600 million, and they put it up to $700 million to make sure they got him.
Well, to have a 10-year, because right now so my phone started blowing up as soon as it hit. I want to reinstate this. That is a lot of money to give a DH. You can tell me all you want. He's a two-way player. No, he's not. No, not right now. He's not. So you're paying for a guy that you right now that might not ever pitch again. So, and he's not pitching this year. And guess what the Dodgers desperately needed? They don't need a DH. They didn't need another bat in the lineup. It helps, but they need 2 or 3 pitchers, starting pitchers. They need bullpen help. They are hurting at the pitching. And you can tell me all you want to that 48, 50 million is going to help them get them. Well, you're paying 3 guys that amount with Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts. And you got Kershaw. Buehler is probably not cheap.
And we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Any team that signed him was going to have a problem with the money because of the money. Any team, but somebody was going to do it. Now, I have to admit, the Angels cleared $25 million off of Shohei Ohtani last year for what he brought into the ball club. He generated in 2022, himself, $200 million worldwide.
Right.
$200 million.
Right.
You generate 200, and that was with the Angels, not with the Dodgers. So if he can generate $200 million worldwide, all he has to do is do it for 4 years, and they're going to be out in the good because that's $800 million.
Right.
So they're talking about all the last year Trout for commercials and stuff like that away from baseball. He made over $4 million. Ohtani made $25 million.
Right.
There was already a rush at the MLB store for all the leftover jerseys for the California Angels for Ohtani, and now they're trying to buy Dodger stuff, and they haven't even made it yet.
Right. I mean, in my world of cards, I've been seeing Ohtani stuff left and right, and also with Soto. The day it broke, that it wasn't even a done deal yet. His rookie cards were already going through the roof, and his cards died when he went to San Diego. I've talked about it before, but back to just the baseball talk. The Ohtani signing is huge. I mean, that lineup was a monstrous lineup anyway. Now you add him, and it just lengthens it that much more as a DH. I would hate to pitch to him, but man, they're going to have to stop somebody somewhere, right? I mean, their defense is not that strong. What I read was Mookie Betts is going to play second base from now on. So I'm like, so who's your outfielders? I mean, I guess you put Outman, the rookie, out there. I don't know, because he was your second baseman last year.
I think it's
Muncy was your. Now, what do you move him to third?
Muncy's going to play third, and I saw the lineup on MLB last night, the prospected lineup, and Muncy was at third. They had Taylor in left field. The catcher that we like. Will Smith. Yeah. Will Smith's going to bat cleanup. Those lineup.
That's what he was last year.
Mookie was hitting first. Ohtani was hitting second. Freddie was hitting third. Smith was hitting fourth.
So and lefty, huh?
And Muncy was hitting fifth. That's a halfway decent lineup. I mean, as far as hitting. Now, I'm saying, well, who are you going to pitch? Because Buehler is coming back from Tommy John. He probably, if he's lucky, will throw 150 innings this year. That's if he's lucky. He may not throw that many. So he might throw only 150 innings. Kershaw is probably coming back, and he's about, this is it for him. This is his swan song, his last year. So what are you going to get out of him? Right. And then you've got about 3 or 4 other kids who have high ceilings, but you don't know what you're going to get. They can all throw 100 miles an hour, but what are you going to get? So,
well, their biggest loss was Urias again with the domestic stuff.
Yeah, and he's out. He's gone.
That's a huge loss, and I mean, and you got to take all that with a grain of salt, but that seems pretty real because this is the second time. Last time it was real. It seems like this one's real. After what happened to Bauer, now I've been saying it, and you've been saying it. You kind of gotta take things with let the courts play their job before we start saying. I mean, because baseball owes Bauer a huge apology. I mean, if
And a
not
lot of
money.
money.
Yeah, if not money as well. I mean, that was ridiculous. We got to remember he's out there. He's probably might be the best free agent as pitcher.
But see, there's still some teams that are afraid to sign him because they think he's toxic.
Well, yeah, he was he had issues before this all happened. After he won a Cy Young, he thought he was greater than great. I've said this before, especially with quarterbacks and stuff. You got to have cockiness if you want to succeed. You got to have that "I'm better than you" mentality. I used to say it when I was young. You have to go to the plate thinking I'm better than the pitcher, and the pitcher has to be thinking he's better than the hitter. I don't care who's at the plate. As a pitcher, you have to believe you're better than him. If not, you're already defeated. So I mean,
depending on who the Dodgers get as for pitching, and if Rodon comes back anywhere near what he was before he was the Yankees traded for him, and he pitched like a little leaguer last year. If he comes back and with Cole, to me, neither of those teams have any excuses. None.
Right.
None. Not with what they've done. With what they've done, they have no excuses. If they don't win, then those managers are gone. I mean, gone, and all the coaches. Because
and it'll be early on too.
Oh yeah, you have those lineups. You have got to win. Now, do they have holes in them? Yes. The Yankees have about 65 strikeouts a game because they got all power hitters. Mm-hmm. They don't have any speed.
Right.
And I know of. Looking at the lineup, Volpe is probably the fastest player. He hits ninth. And the Dodgers, they don't have a whole lot of speed.
And he's their only real – him and the catcher now. They finally got a good catcher, which will be his rookie year this year. They have a plus season. I don't know if Jason Dominguez, that might be their other outfielder they're thinking. I don't know, but that's another power hitter, but he has speed. 19, 20-year-old. I know he got hurt last year. I don't know if he'll be back for this year. Again, he'll be a rookie. The Yankees, that pitcher, I mean, to pitch against them, you better be concentrating on every pitch.
Either one of those teams to go up against those lineups.
Right.
You would have your act together.
Well, at least Dodger Stadium plays big. When you go there, Dodger Stadium plays, Chavez Ravine plays big. Yankee Stadium does not.
Well, see, I'm not
even the right field. It doesn't
away
play
from big. Roger Maris, Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, any of the left-handers that played in Yankee Stadium. But that short porch, there's a lot of home runs out there. Would have been a fly ball out in a lot of places. Yeah, that's why. And the other thing about Ohtani, let's be honest, he would have been the most valuable player for the 3 years in a row if Judge hadn't broken Roger Maris's home run record that year.
Right.
Because Ohtani was that close to him then. And Judge broke the home run record. That's how he won So Judge, to me, hitting those home runs right-handed in Yankee Stadium without that short porch, that tells me a lot. I mean, that's like my father used to tell me. He said, son, Ruth was great. All these left-handed batters in Yankee Stadium were great. He said, but the best Yankee of them all, in my opinion, was Joe DiMaggio. That was my dad's favorite player. He was a Yankee fan.
I think the Yankees this year really have a chance at 50 home run guys.
Oh, sure. They're loaded. And they're loaded. And the Dodgers are now loaded. Well, there again, too, with him.
But I think the Dodgers have a better defense.
Yes.
I think the Yankees are going to give up runs, not only pitching wise on the back end of their rotation.
The other thing about Ohtani is this: with the Tommy John surgery during the year, are they going to have to rest him some because having him up there swinging a bat I don't care if he's not throwing a ball. And the Tommy John surgery is for a pitcher's elbow.
Well,
But
I
when
mean,
you're swinging the bat, you're putting stress on your arm.
Harper had it, and I mean, he missed games.
So, I mean, I'm just saying.
So, I mean, without the surgery, you don't have to miss games because you're not going to damage it anymore, whatever. But afterwards, I don't know. That's a good question. But he's just such a freak in a good way that he probably will be back and it won't bother him.
Right.
But this is his second time. Last time he didn't really miss any games DHing.
Well, the Dodgers did bring Jason Hayward back after he was with the Cubs. And then they got him, and they also brought Joe Kelly back in the bullpen. Okay. So they did bring one of their better bullpen guys back. And there's another thing too that I don't know if you've ever heard of them, the Carlisle Group.
Mm-hmm.
They're led by David. I think his name is Rubenstein. They are in talks to buy the Baltimore Orioles.
Okay.
Because the owner of the Orioles is 80-some. He's 80-some. And from what I understand, his family really doesn't want to be in. They'd rather be done with it and not involved. That's my understanding. So this Rubenstein is in talks with them to maybe buy them. Now, we talked about Yamamoto. There's another Japanese pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
He's 22 years old. I'm not talking about the 30-year-old. I'm talking about
okay. Okay.
His name is Roki, Roki Sasaki. He is supposed to be the next great thing. He pitched a no-hitter last year and had an earned run average of like 183. He's 22 years old, and he went to his team and wanted to be posted before Friday so he can get in this hunt for the big bucks in the United States to come over here and pitch. The problem is that the team he plays for, one of those weird teams like the Osaka Mud Daubers or whatever. I don't know. They all got weird names. The Yokoyama Mookie Bucky Giants or something. They all got these crazy names. But anyway, the team, from what the reporting is, the team is either not going to do it or very reluctant to do it because they've got about 3 more years of his contract, and they don't lose him because they got a chance to win the Japanese World Series.
Right.
So, but he's asking for it, so because he wants to get a chance. $700 million goes across the wires all over the world. In Japan, people were staying up at night to see what he was going to do. I mean, there's a whole nation. Well, Asia. There's a few billion people in Asia, and they're all watching these Asian ball players. The Canadians, the Koreans,
Well, Padres have a Korean utility guy.
Yeah.
Kim. There's another Korean player that entered into it too. So for the KBO or whatever. So that's going to be interesting. He's within 200 plus 20 home run guy. So
within 2 hours, within 2 hours of Ohtani putting on his Instagram that he had signed with the Dodgers, the Angels took down his mural outside the stadium.
It wasn't a good breakup. I'm telling you, I've never heard, and I know it's a cliche.
Well, he thanked them. He thanked the Angels for them. And the other thing in his Instagram, this is the way Ohtani is. He apologized to the baseball fans for dragging it out long. Wasn't that long, but
to me, it's quick because most of the players would have been after the first of the year.
You said last week, guys like us, we're spoiled. We want to see it right now. We want to see what's going on. Right. And but I mean, he apologized to the baseball. That's kind of individual he is.
Right.
I mean, this guy probably he has got to be up there with LeBron James right now in this pantheon of athletes that are known all over the world. What with social media, the television going all over the world, basketball being a big sport all over the world, baseball being a pretty big sport all over the world. Now, there are a few Lionel Messi and a few of the
I was
soccer.
gonna say, like Messi and those guys.
They're bigger than anybody because that's the biggest sport in the world outside of the United States.
Right.
But in Canada, but I guess the only athlete that I can think of who probably was better known than anybody else in the world at that time was Muhammad Ali.
Right.
He was, I mean, even Michael Jordan was well known for most of the world for his basketball, but Ali was known in every corner of the planet.
Right.
Because he was that big. And I don't think any other athlete has ever been that big. And
right.
The other thing Ohtani didn't do, he had the option. He could have had the little clown show and said, I'm taking my game to South Beach. But he didn't do that. And LeBron James did it, and he got raked over the coals. Now, to his credit, he learned from it.
Right.
And
well, he matured, yeah.
He learned from it. He was a young guy, and he got tired of losing in Cleveland. So the agents and all they got together, and they talked him into this. And, he had
a hand into that, too, the decision.
Oh, sure. And it rubbed people the wrong way, but he learned from it. And he's, he's a great guy now for all what he does for kids and stuff like that. And he's probably the best. He and Jordan are the two best basketball players I ever saw. So, and I don't watch the NBA much.
Kobe's got to be up there too, but yeah.
Who?
Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant. But I mean, he learned from it, and Ohtani, he doesn't even want us to know the name of his dog. That's how private he is.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to get to. Like when he left there, for him to clean his locker out 10 days before the season was over, the work ethic and all that stuff, that's when I knew there's more stuff going on there than just baseball. Same thing with Trout, but Trout, I mean, it came out that he's 100% staying in California with the Angels. So that means it's probably a 50-50.
Yeah, they're paying him for 5 more years.
Yeah, but the owner went to him supposedly to plead with him to take a trade because he's trying to sell the team and he can't sell it with that contract.
The owner's the one who came out and said, we're not trading it.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. So it's probably a 50-50 shot that they're trading. It's hard to believe what they're telling,
Well, Scott, if somebody offers him the right deal, he'll take it.
Well, yeah, but Trout's got to approve it. At the end of the day, it's Trout's decision. He's got a no trade clause.
Right.
So
I can't imagine Trout, if he had a chance to go to the Yankees or the Cubs or maybe Boston or something like that, the team that really has a chance to win it, that he wouldn't
he's from the Philly area. And, I mean, he's from northeastern area. So, but I mean, man, leaving Southern Cal, I lived out there for a while. Leaving out there would be tough. Making that money where you can actually live comfortably out there, that would be a tough move.
Yeah, because see, that's what Ohtani. People thought he wanted to be on the West Coast because he was closer to Japan. That had a little bit to do with it, but he actually likes the weather.
He
likes playing. He plays half his games in L.A. Too. So I mean, half his games are in nice weather. I mean, he goes and plays the Chicago Cubs in April when it's 41 degrees. He plays 3 games. He flies home.
Right. Well, that was. I mean, after living out there, I have a different understanding of when they talk about the weather out there. It's basically the same every day, no matter what the calendar says.
I said this in the mall yesterday when I was doing my morning walk. I walked 2 miles in the morning over there, except Sunday. And one of my baseball buddies said, well, if he wanted to stay in warm weather, why would he sign with Toronto? I said, they play in a dome. Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was when Toronto entered the mix, I understood that because to me, Toronto actually has a better pitching staff than the Dodgers do. And it's not that much better, but it is better.
It is better, yeah.
So that made more sense to me. But when I saw the money that he made, I was like, nobody came close to that. There's no way.
Toronto, the Angels wouldn't say how much they offered him, but Toronto said they didn't come anywhere near $700 million.
At first, I wouldn't give him a 10-year.
Toronto offered $550 550 or something, 540, 550.
Because the rumor was that he wasn't looking for a long contract, which I kind of think is foolish. If somebody's going to give you a 10-year deal at 30 years old or whatever he is, 28, whatever, that's your career. I mean, you're done. You're going to make
you're going to go in the Hall of Fame with.
Yeah, and I mean, you're also. I mean, I'm just saying for retirement purposes, you're set. I mean, the adage was why these teams were giving long deals was because 8, 7 years, 6 years from now, you're getting them cheaper at today's money than you would if re-signing them 6 years later from now. I don't know, $700 million. That's a lot of money. I don't care what year it is. So I don't believe it in this contract.
If it's backloaded, that means he's going to be making more money later on than he is now. So,
right.
All right. What are you're trying to factor in the cost of living?
Well, they're trying to an average. So they're looking at averages, not where it's backloaded or front loaded.
Yeah, but
when analysts are talking about
the thing is, if it averages $70 million a year, excuse me, for the 10 years, and he's only going to be making 45 or 50, that means the biggest amount of the money is going to be paid at the tail end after he's out of the game. See, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I try to tell people.
I don't know. 10 years he'll be out the game, Dad. I mean, he's still a young guy.
Yeah, right. But what I'm talking about backloaded is they're not going to pay the full $700 million while he's playing. This goes for about 20 years down the road.
Oh, okay. I got you.
This is the same thing like, what's his name? The guy that the Mets have been paying for 15 years.
But Scherzer has that same deal with Washington and the Mets.
Exactly. So, in Baltimore, there's a guy who used to play for the outfield for the Baltimore Orioles, and they're still paying him $1 million a year. They've been paying him. And the guy's 50.
Albert Bell.
Albert Bell. He's still making $1 million a year because it was backloaded. Right. That's what the backloading is. That way they avoid the.
Sometimes backloading means your first 4 years you're going to make this, and then your next 4, and then the last 2 we're going to give you the rest. Not necessarily we're going to pay you for the next 20 years.
But this is what I mean. I'm just going by what they were talking about on MLB.
Right. I understand. I 100% understand. But it's crazy money. It's hard to fathom somebody making that amount of money.
We're working stiffs.
Yeah, we
grew up. We're working stiffs. I guess you could call us middle class, and we just can't. I can't fathom that kind of money.
Right. I sit there and I just wonder how much good that could do. Not an area, but the whole country. 70 million could go a long ways for things. But
well, I mean, look at all the multimillionaires and billionaires and trillionaires we've got in this country that don't pay any taxes, and we got kids on school lunch programs, and they have to have charity drives for children's hospitals. Tell me that's not wrong.
Right, I agree. That's the part that kind of, but you have to kind of, if you love sports, you got to kind of what I was getting to. You got to kind of shelf those,
right,
and just worry about.
And I know people that don't watch sports anymore, and they tell me it's because of the money.
Right. I mean, 700 million is just a number to me at this point. He got a lottery ticket. The man plays ball. One of the best hitters in the game. Was one of the top pitchers, and I don't know if we're going to see that. That's the part I keep stressing. They're paid that much for a DH, which is hard for me to swallow. To pay that much for a DH. So
okay, well, here's the other thing. If he can't pitch after this year, and they find out he cannot do both, Freddie will be getting ready to retire pretty. I mean, he's the oldest guy out there on that team, I would think. I don't know how exactly old he is, but he's in his 30s.
Yeah, Betts has got some age on him too.
Yeah, I think Betts has got some age on him, but Freddie's got some age on him. And
right.
when he retires, Ohtani can play first base.
Theoretically, if he wants to. I know at one time
he can play the outfield.
When he started with the Angels, he played outfield some, and He's decent. He's okay. I mean, he's better than some of those other guys that play outfield on other teams. And he's fast. It's just it's interesting to see what's going to happen.
Well, he signed with whoever. Everybody figured he was going to go with the Dodgers, and that's who he went with.
Yeah, and good for them. Happy for their fans. Again, it's another team I can't stand, and I just good luck to him. And I wish him well, and I'll be rooting against the Dodgers.
Well, look at all these teams that like last year, the Dodgers, the Braves, they get into the playoffs and then they get knocked out right away. So I don't care how good you are. I mean, the Phillies last year, they were rolling. And then They get 2 games left with Arizona, and everybody stopped hitting home runs, and Arizona won 2 games in Philly, and they're out of the playoffs. And so, I mean, there's no guarantee these big power teams are going to win. I'm just saying, if they don't, then if you're on the coaching staff or you're the manager, you're done.
Here's an interesting. Did you know that was Philly's first Game 7 in their team's history?
No, I did not.
That was their first Game 7 in their team history. I texted one up when I heard that. I texted one of my friends to ask if that was a caveat to that or whatever. He said, nope.
Well, if you think about it, for a long time, they never got into World Series when it was just 16 teams.
Right.
They just were in one World Series. That was like the 50s Wills kids, and the Yankees beat them in 4 straight.
Right. Well, they've had different numbers too over the years, like 9 games.
When they beat the Braves in the playoffs, and then went to the World Series and lost. Remember, they lost to the Toronto Blue Jays. Remember, I think both those series went 6 games.
Right.
Well, they couldn't have gone 7, so they had. Right. I believe both. I believe both of them were 6 games.
Right. I was pretty. I was pretty shocked when I heard that. I just thought. One other thing that I got from my Philly friends, Mike let me know, the reason that they got rid of the one uniform is because they're only allowed to have so many uniforms, and this is their year to add the color, the City Connect, whatever it is, jersey, which he does not like whatsoever. He's hoping for the best. You have to say it's going to be City of Love, Liberty Bell, something like that.
Well, I mean, jersey. Is that what the Boston Red Sox were wearing with that hideous yellow and blue?
Yeah, that's city colors or in their flag or yeah.
That was awful.
Well, that's
they're wearing pajamas.
It's like Washington, which most people like. They wear the or what, not the orange blossoms, but the
they wear it's the cherry blossoms. They have the cherry blossoms, and they wear them on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, so a lot of teams wear them on Friday night, the City Connects, or Sunday.
Okay, I mean, so I saw the comment. Mike had a comment saying that he didn't, he didn't like most of the city, and I kind of like the cherry blossoms. That's kind of unique.
Not all of them are bad.
But that thing, that yellow and blue thing that the Red Sox wear is hideous.
I kind of like the Astros too, with Space City or whatever it's called on New Jersey, and the Twins. The Twin City one is spectacular.
Well, the Twins, in my opinion, don't have an ugly uniform.
Right.
What they've come out with in the last few years, their uniforms are very. So I like them all.
So what it comes down to is them selling jerseys, MLB. That's all it is. For Fanatics, who their partnership with. So,
well, I guess the next big domino to fall will probably be Yamamoto, and he'll probably decide between the Yankees and the Mets. And I'm hoping
they're talking about he's supposed to be. People thought he's going to decide by this weekend. So
he's got until my birthday, January 7th.
Right, and the Mets went out. It looked like they said the Yankees were slam dunk until the Mets went out and visit with him. They flew out.
Yeah, they flew to the owner went out and flew to Japan to talk to him.
Right,
and then he talked to the Yankees yesterday.
Right,
he was in New York, talked to the Yankees.
So well, it's a wait and see. That one. And I mean, if they don't get him, they're most likely going to get the 30-year-old. And I know they're offering Montgomery some
Well, I
money.
heard the Red
They
Sox.
done picked up some relievers too. So
I heard the Red Sox are big on Snell.
probably
They're trying to get Snell.
Red Sox need a lot of help. So, but anything to end today's show on that? I knew we had stuff to talk about today, so this was very interesting. Getting your thoughts on this.
I mean, that's the big dominoes falling. By the time we do this next Sunday, there might be a whole bunch of people signing.
Right.
Because a lot of people, if they see people starting to sign, they're going to sign so they're not left out in the cold. Because every year some guys get left out.
Well, in my world, my Mets have not started talks with Pete Alonso yet, so I read that today, and so wait and see. So we'll end on that note. This went by really, really quick today, and please leave a comment on what your thoughts are, what your team's trying to do. Let us know to read up on your team or let us know. So until next time, like, share, tell a friend. Again, thanks to everyone that watches and leave comments, and we'll see ya.